Game 3, playoff baseball. Back in the Motor City. Joining us this morning, it's the Tiger manager, AJ Hinch. AJ, finally got to sleep in your own beds. Welcome back home.
Yeah, it's been a while. That was a long, extended road trip for all the right reasons, though. We got to the playoffs. We go to Cleveland. We have a nice series there, nice little party, and then head out to Seattle, and now we're back. So we're going to be thrilled walking into Comerica Park today and playing in front of our home fans in the playoffs.
Yeah, taking the split in Seattle. How did you feel about the way you guys opened the series?
Yeah, I love Game 1. I mean, that's the one. That's the one you love to win and get an opportunity, going into Game 2 and even in Game 2. I mean, what a hard fought game, and we fell short. But this is playoff baseball, and I love the stress. I love the drama. I love the debates and all the things that come with being one of only, 8 teams still standing and having a chance to advance. So productive trip out to Seattle. Obviously, would love to have been greedy and won both games, but getting the split, we come home, fun Game 3 ahead of us. And I'm proud of our guys for enduring what was a pretty tough 2 weeks, to get baseball back to Comerica.
Well, and we may have to wait a little bit longer. I know it's not the first time you guys are faced with the possibility of a rain delay, but with all the pressure, the stress, and the excitement of playoff baseball, does it change at all having a rain delay in the postseason versus the regular season?
I don't think so, just because we're home. So we have the comfortable home clubhouse. We, obviously will have sort of first knowledge of what's going on. The league does a great job of communicating. We are going to get the game in. It doesn't look like it's a wipeout, but we'll have these little meetings along the way to find out what the start time is. And then given that it's the first home game, I'm sure there's going to be a ceremony before the game. And so it's a long drawn out process. So the length of the day is a little bit longer, but when we were in Seattle and Cleveland both, we have multiple bus times to go from the hotel to the field, depending on what you need to accomplish. And as the season got later, the players all piled on bus 1. Like, they were ready to go to the field really early because of the excitement. So that won't dull it down. And there's not much you can control in the scheduling anyway, but specifically in October, we're just going to wait around and tell us when to play.
Flaherty today, Mize tomorrow, flip the order from the first series. What was the thought process with that decision?
A little bit of Jack on regular rest and Casey getting some extended bullpens. Both have been good in those scenarios. Lately, Jack on regular rest, regular routine. Both of them came out with small pitch counts, so that wasn't that big a deal. But, we had to pick one or the other, and having Jack on regular rest and kind of sticking with his regimen was attractive. And then obviously Casey gets the extra bullpen and a little time to ramp up to Game 4. So, he's a slightly better matchup, Jack is, than Casey with the spin and the velo. But we didn't feel like we could make a bad choice, but we got the benefit of Jack on regular rest, Casey with extra rest.
In terms of the bats, it's something obviously I know you guys are talking about, you guys are feeling, we're talking about. What type of mentality do you want to see from your hitters as they head to the plate with or against Gilbert today?
Yeah, just keep fighting. I got asked yesterday, what are you going to do to get these guys to hit? And I just sort of wanted to laugh. Like, it's not as simple as snap your fingers and the Seattle Mariners pitching staff is going to become garbage. Like, they're good. And we've got to stay in that fight and pick the right pitches to swing at and be aggressive at the right times, but also be patient. Gilbert's super hard to deal with because he's got a funky delivery. He's got really high-end pitches. He punches out a billion guys, and you have to kind of endure, the high pitch count, pitch around the margins, 98 to 90 mile an hour split, and pass the baton to the next guy. So it's easy to say, hey, we want a little bit more contact, a little bit more run production. But the first 2 games kind of show you how this series is going to go, where the one-run games, a big swing, a big defensive play, a big punch out by a pitcher. Like, those are key parts of the day. But, we're working and we're obviously pushing these guys, but we're also facing, arguably some of the best arms in the league.
How much of it is that it's playoff pitching and how much of it is, hey, we still got to find a way. We can't have both the strikeouts and not the extra base hits?
No, both. I mean, it's all in all the time, and it's trying to find solutions and not just complain about, the problems. I mean, everybody has the at-bat to conduct. My big thing about playoff baseball is executing your game plan. Like, you're going to face the best. There are only good teams left. Like, no one is a bad team, and no one has, huge holes on their roster. And so you get into competition and realize it's one-on-one and trying to execute the plan while he's trying to do the opposite. So it's funny. I love the way Tarek Skubal threw the ball. Obviously, Troy Melton got us off to a good start. That's good pitching against their hitting. They're doing the same thing against us. I mean, Carp came up with a big swing. Torque came up with a big swing. It's going to take more of that, to score some runs against Seattle. And we're going to try to win the series, but you got to win game 3, in order to put yourself in a better position.
Juggling pitching in the postseason. We know you have to, and I know you've talked about trying to avoid throwing the same guys to the same pockets of hitters. Finnegan saw the top of the order in both games. Is it, hey, man, that's our guy, let it eat, or is that something you try to avoid today?
No, he'll get him again. I mean, this is a 5-game series, and it's never perfect. And, Brash saw the middle of our order, and Munoz saw the same group of hitters 2 days in a row as well. I mean, you're going to go with your guys that you feel good about because you're trying to win the game, and you're trying to get the outs that you can. And I think the sequencing can change. I think the where you attack them can change. But let's not forget it's a one-on-one competition, and making pitches is certainly key. But they got good guys on their end, and you got to come out on top of more of those one-on-one competitions than you don't.
We've heard you talk about your thoughts about small ball. We've seen a little bit in the postseason and playoff baseball. It's, hey, any way you can get a run across, any way you can move batters forward. How does your philosophy change, or does it, in the postseason regarding small ball?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun way when it works. But I also watched last night when Philly, bunted into an out to third base with a runner in scoring position. So it's not a fail-proof approach. It depends on where you are in the order. We did it a little bit in Cleveland. We're not afraid to do it against Seattle, but it's all situation based. Where you are in the order, where you are in the game, where they are with their pitching, and are you willing to trade an out for 90 feet, and what that does to the next hitter. I mean, it's small ball can feel really good in the moment, and then the next guy punches, and all of a sudden, you put yourself in a position that you wish you would have swung the bat. So on the flip side, you can let him swing, and the same thing can happen. So I try not to be too results-based, because in my job, I've got to put us in a good position and put us in a good process. But the ebbs and flows of the postseason can create opportunities where one run matters more than it feels like in, March, April, May, June. Given the magnitude, the one-run lead allows you to change your pitching, or it allows you to put more pressure on the opponent. So I tend to do it a little bit more in the postseason than I do in a June series in, Minnesota.
You had a lot of the old school baseball fans fired up in game 1 against Cleveland. He bunted a couple times in that game. I understand that the trade-off rate is giving away outs and playing for only one run, but in some of these games, It feels like, especially when Skubal was playing in that game, or you got a guy rolling, one run might be enough to win these games.
Hey, just make sure you guys love on us a little bit if we do that and they get the lead runner out at third in the 9th inning with you only have 3 outs left.
All right. Question on Colt Keith. You've DH'd him. Do you envision him playing the field this series, or is this just kind of the game plan? He's going to be a bat.
Right now, I think we're going to stick with the bat. It allows Wenzel Perez to be on the bench. Obviously he's almost 2 players in one. I've said that a couple times, and Colt, he's going to hit third today. I'm going to change the order a little bit to try to make their decisions a little bit harder with how they're attacking Carp and Greeny, and so you've seen me take him out of the game and use him as a place where I can either pinch hit or they've got to give him another at bat against a right-handed pitcher. So with Gilbert, he's going to hit a little bit higher in the order, and we're going to stick with the bat. The trade out of putting him at third base, shifts McKinstry either to the bench or to the outfield, which then shifts Carp, and Wenzel still could be out, or I got to take Parker out. So we're going to value Colt's bat the most against these right-handed starters, and then if they bring in a lefty, I have the option of Jemai or Andy or Wenzel, or I can flip it throughout the game if need be.
I guess a follow-up, if you're moving Colt Keith up, which lefty are you going to move I guess both Carp and Green. I mean, I don't think you're doing all three lefties in a row, are you?
No, I'm not going to do three dots. I'm going to lead off Carp, which I did earlier in the day. So I'll break the news now that I'm going to lead Carp off and make them make decisions faster. That 19th hitter, which I talked about, I think, on this show earlier in the year, makes for a really quick decision with Gilbert and gives us an option to have a big bat, get as many at bats as we can before they try to bring Spire in.
We've seen the environment in Cleveland. We saw the environment in Seattle. It's going to be an orange out today. Whenever the game gets going, when there's two strikes, we always hear, especially with Jack's on the mound, we hear the crowd get going. How much does that play into the emotions and the moment of the game?
It's huge. I mean, the crowd, the home field advantage is legit, and it puts a ton of pressure on the opponent when it's against you. And so the emotion of the playoffs brings its own intensity when your crowd is behind you in the biggest moment, whether it's when you're up to bat and the pitcher's trying to make pitches and he's falling behind, or if you are Jack Flaherty or Finnegan or Vest and you're on the mound and the hitter's under a lot of stress. I mean, I know not many people maybe have felt the 45,000, wrath of screams at people, but it is a legit emotional experience for guys, and it's nice to be home. I mean, we just played in some of the more volatile environments in Seattle specifically, but even Boston at the tail end of the year on that Friday night, and Cleveland brought it pretty well in the playoffs. It's nice to be in the white uniform and wear it at home and have the group for you and feeling that backing that this city has always done, but it's grown a couple of years with this specific team.
Just end on that. What's your message to fans who are going to make their way out to the ballpark tonight?
Come and enjoy it. This is the second year in a row we've been in this environment and in the playoff baseball. Detroit's one of the best sports towns in the business, and we love being at home. We love playing at home in front of this team and in front of these fans with this team, and we're looking forward to the environment and rewarding them with hopefully another playoff win.
He's Tiger manager AJ Hinch.
Good luck. Go get him.
You got it. Take care.
It's 97.1.